So what's happening, guys? Welcome to the channel. We're finally able to come and record this. I finally got the runt to get to sleep. He kind of gave me a run for my money tonight. But we are here. We are here to talk about the state of DC, Warner Brothers, where they're going. So, in a report that came out this week, it is being said that Skydance, that just bought Paramount, is getting ready to make a bid for Warner Brothers, and that's all of Warner Brothers. So that's DC and all their content, their shows, their movies, everything you can think of. That's what they're going for. So this begs the question: what is going to happen with people that are already working at Warner Brothers? So the way I would look at it is, think of like a sports organization when like ownership changes over. The first thing they're going to do is change the head coach, draft a new quarterback, things like that. Well, who's to say they won't do that with James Gunn? And like I'm not saying James Gunn they're gonna get rid of him, because James Gunn has an amazing track record of making just amazing product, amazing movies, shows, you name it. Let's look at Peacemaker, look at Superman. There's a lot of things to be excited about when it comes to James Gunn. So I don't necessarily see how they're going to get rid of him, but at the same time, I can kind of see it happening. So, like when the person buys Warner Brothers, and that's just to say if they bought him, they're just going to get a bid ready, but things are getting serious. And, like if they were to take over and let's say they get rid of James Gunn, do you really want to... Sorry, guys. Baby's sleeping a little hard over there. Do you really want to make another Superman? Like, we just came out with this one this year. If they were to take over, let's say by next year, like, you had Henry Cavill, you got David Cornsweet, and then you want to recast another one? So I don't see the logic in that. So, like, I understand, like, James Gunn may not be their guy, and they may want to try something different, go another route, which is perfectly fine. They've done it before, but I don't see them doing it now. But I will say there could be some positives to this, and it's just a theory that I've just been kind of floating out there. I don't think this would happen, but I don't think you can make the argument that it won't happen. So, hypothetically, we're just speaking in hypotheticals here. If Warner Brothers gets taken over by Skydance and they say, you know what? We love James Gunn. We want to let you have your DCU, but we're really interested in Elseworlds. And I know what you're thinking. It's like, well, you don't want to have all these different characters. You don't want to have two Supermen at the same time. That's just going to be confusing. Well, I don't really agree with that, because we're already seeing that we have Elseworld Batman with Matt Reeves and James Gunn's DCU right now. So I can make the argument that why can't you just finish out, it's going to sound a little crazy, but you finish out the Snyderverse, right? Every Snyder fan is going to agree with me, and then you're going to have the other side that's not. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not a Snyder cultist. I'm not trying to put it out there that I crave for this to get done. I just think it'd be cool, and I don't think it would be something major on the side, but I do think there would be opportunities there. I think personally, if they were to go with the Elseworld thing, they could do the Batman Deathstroke movie with Ben Affleck. You do Justice League 2, Justice League 3, and then you close out the Snyderverse. And the reason I say it's just those three is because it's been reported that Henry Cavill's Man of Steel 2 was going to be Man of Tomorrow. Well, we've already seen James Gunn's next movie is going to be Man of Tomorrow. So that can get confusing, but I don't think you need to have a second movie for Cavill at this point if they were to go that route. And like I said, this is all hypothetical. Reports like this just get the mind going, and it can go in all kinds of different directions. And I thought this was a good route to take, and I'm not mad at it. I was talking with my buddy earlier today, and I kind of threw these ideas around, and I mean, he was like all for it, and But Henry Cavill is obviously his favorite Superman, and he's mine too. And we kind of are on different spectrums when it comes to the new DCU compared to what Snyder had going on. But we do meet in the middle, where Man of Steel is the most underrated superhero film of all time. And I think we'll both stand on that hill. But not to get too far off topic, I do think that it's something to have a conversation about when it comes to the state of DC, because if they decide to come in and change leadership and they decide to just bring all their people in, they want to get their guys doing what they're doing, it's very possible we could have a brand new DCU. You know, David Cornsweat's out and we're rebooting Superman again. You know, and I'm a superhero fan, so I like comic book movies, and like, to me it doesn't really matter. So I just want good movies. But one thing I will say that I think everyone can agree on is restarting, like, it feels like every few years just doesn't seem like the right route to go. So I would kind of say, like, hey, let's not do that. Let's not restart. Let's just keep James Gunn where he is. I think he's got a great vision. I personally have been enjoying everything he's been doing. Everything he touches pretty much turns to gold. So I don't think we should stop that. I mean, when you say Elseworlds, I mean, that could be anything. You can have a Teen Titans versus Justice League movie if you want. Doesn't really matter. A Cyborg standalone. But it's Elseworlds. It doesn't tie into the DCU. And I don't care how confusing that looks. I think the more the better. You know, as long as the script is done and the product's good, I mean, I'm not going to argue against having more movies, having more shows, you know? So I don't see the wrong scenario going that route. The only bad thing I can see would be if they came in, got rid of James Gunn, bring in this new guy, no matter who, it could be Steven Spielberg, it doesn't matter, and completely just redo everything again. So that's kind of where I'm at, and that's kind of what I wanted to touch base on today is what do you know, like, where James Gunn is as far as this new possible takeover. You know, is his job in trouble? You know, is he good? Personally, I think he is, but we'll see where it goes. We'll see who buys them. Now, I will say, I think the worst and the absolute worst thing that can happen is if, let's say, Netflix buys Warner Brothers, because Netflix makes some of the worst movies and they don't believe in movie theaters. So I don't think that's the right approach, and I pray that Netflix does not put in a bid for Warner Brothers. So that's kind of where I'm at on it, and I kind of wanted to bring that out and bring it to y'all's attention. I wanted to know what you guys think about this. Like, do you think James Gunn's position is in trouble? Like, do you think he'll get let go if somebody takes over? Or do you think they're just, or is he safe? You know, like, is he going to keep making movies, and, you know, we're going to continue the DCU and finish out what he's got planned? So I want to know what you guys think. Let me know in the comment section down below. If you like content like this, if you want me to cover more as far as the DC Comics standpoint on this and topics like this, let me know. But anyways, guys, I'm glad y'all stopped by and watched the channel. I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. I'll see y'all in the next one. Later, guys.